to thank everyone for coming and taking a look at the art that we have on the wall. And I just wanted to say I'm really inspired by looking around downtown Helena and the historic buildings that are down there, and looking at the detail that's in the old vintage photographs that are right over there. So if you want to look at those and look at the paintings, you'll see that there's a lot of interesting details that you don't see now because it's either not around anymore, or the postcards that were made way back in the day weren't entirely truthful either because they were advertisements. So it's an interesting idea, I think, to look at those and then maybe reinterpret them in watercolors and the details that come through from that. So I just enjoy doing it, and I'd like to thank you guys for coming.
So I got involved in glass about 14 years ago, and my form of glass is called fused glass or kiln pour glass, which is basically glass that's melted in a kiln. I brought my prop with me. This is my main tool. It's a glass cutter. It's called a pistol grip, which I guess is kind of fitting for Montana. So I really enjoy color. And so most of my glass is really colorful, and I like to cook, and so it's themed in more servingware and bowls and stuff like that. And I like to play, and so I have a whole series of games. This is my little tic-tac-toe board with the X's and the O's. And we set it out so that all the kids could play and the adults could play. And you know, I just love doing what I do, and I kind of thought this would be more interactive, and I was sort of anticipating people would ask me questions about how it's all done. And so if anybody has any questions, I give you the down and dirty, you know, 2 layers of glass melted together with the design elements on top. But there's more to it, but I didn't want to bore anybody with the details. But if there's an engineer here, I'm sure there'll be more technical questions.
Do you work out of your home?
Well, I have a studio next to the house, yeah.
Okay. With the kiln?
3 kilns. I have a little tiny baby kiln that I use to make jewelry and make little samples. And then I have a bigger one called an octagon, and that's sort of where I started. But it wasn't big enough to do as much as I wanted to do, so then I got one that's called the bathtub. And so you could sit in it, but I don't recommend it. And I give workshops, so if you're really interested, come on over. I have a little mini workshop where you just sort of make a tray or a bowl. It's simple, it's easy. Or a half a day where you can kind of fill up half the kiln and make whatever you want. So it's really fun. Had a workshop yesterday, I've got a workshop tomorrow. I'm blasting home tonight to clean the kiln and get everything ready. So, any other questions, thoughts, comments?
So what do you slump the trays in?
Mostly ceramic molds. I've got some metal stainless steel molds, but they're fussier to deal with, and so I don't have the patience for fussing.
So what temperature is the glass fused at?
So the first fuse is called a flat fuse, so it's like a tic-tac-toe set, a coaster trivet, and that goes to about 1500 degrees, depending on which kiln I'm using. And then the slumping, where you actually sit it on top of a mold and it sags into the shape, goes to about 1225. Takes about 16 hours to run the kiln, depending on the size. The bigger the piece, the slower you have to go so it doesn't crack, either as it's coming up to the full temperature or cooling down to the temperature. Kind of like Pyrex, you can pour boiling water into Pyrex, but if you did something with other types of glass, it would thermal shock, and so kind of have to fuss with it. Nowadays, all the kilns are programmable, so I program the rate of how it ramps up and how it ramps down. Then there's the whole issue of which kind of glass can you use. I don't use recycled glass because I don't know what it melts at or what it cools at. And you kind of have to know that so that the glass doesn't crack either in the kiln or just sitting on the shelf. It could crack just randomly.
So when you have a green tray, the glass you buy for that is green. You're not somehow infusing the color into it.
I'm buying sheets of glass. They're usually about 2 foot square, sometimes 4 foot square sheets of transparent colored glass or opaque glass. Now, some of the glass, I have a bunch of scrap glass, and so what I'll do is I'll just crush it and sprinkle it on. I've got a little platter down there. It's my fish and stream platter. And I crushed a bunch of glass in different colors to sort of mimic a stream bed, and then I cut little slivers of ivory colored bones and laid there to make it look like sort of a dead fish in the stream.